is it complex and obscure? Is Quran simple and clear, or is it complex and obscure?
I believe it's simple and clear.
It is simple and clear. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا يَعْلَمُ تَأْوِيلَهُ إِلَّا اللَّهُ. And no one knows the interpretation of it except Allah. Also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Then ask the people of dhikr, meaning the people of knowledge, the people of Quran, if you do not know. So if it's clear and simple, how can we interpret these verses?
That's a simple and clear, based on the explanation we got from the beginning, from the one that received it directly from Allah, the way He explained it to us. Because from your explanation, everything is straightforward. From the way I see it, from the little bit that I know, it's straightforward. Like, there is no, it's just because you tell you it's either you do this, you're on the right side, or you're on the left.
So let me ask the question in a different way. Was Quran sent to the kind of the general public, the layman, or was it sent to the scholars?
I can say scholar.
To the scholars. So if I'm just a general person, if I'm a layman, I recite the Quran, it's not for me. I have to go to a scholar and I have to kind of listen to the Quran from him.
When I say scholar, for example, I'm going to go from me. For example, I don't speak Arabic. I don't understand it. And sometimes some people who even speak Arabic, they may not know the exact definition of it. You need to have someone who's got deeper knowledge to interpret it for you.
Yeah. So Quran is for everyone.
Yeah.
Quran is for everyone. And no one can encompass the Quran because Quran, as we mentioned the other day, is not for a specific group of people or a specific time period or a specific place, right? Quran is for all people, all places, all times. And it is different levels. It's different levels, right? So a layman, someone who just understands Arabic, can recite the Quran and can get a general understanding of the divine message. When a scholar recites the Quran, reads the Quran, he will go deeper, and he is able to kind of derive and understand the divine messages at a deeper level. But it is for everyone, and Quran is both simple and clear, and complex and obscure. It's both. It's all of that. Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anh said, Al-Qur'anu hammalun dhu wujuh. Quran can have different meanings and different aspects. So the same verse can have different meanings, and all of the meanings are correct. But, therefore, they might be for different times or for different places. So, for example, there is a verse in Surah An-Nahl where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَالْخَيْلَ وَالْبِغَالَ وَالْحَمِيرَ لِتَرْكَبُوهَا وَزِينَةً وَيَخْلُقُ مَا لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. And the horses, and the mules, and the donkeys, and adornment. And he shall create that which you do not know. So this verse, hundreds of years ago, was interpreted as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will create other creatures, other animals, and other insects, if you read the tafsir. And that is correct, because even until this day, we still discover new species that we did not know about. So that is true. But we also know that there is a different aspect to that verse, because the verse is talking about means of transportation, right? Now we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created other things that people at that time did not know about. Means of transportation like cars and airplanes and so on. So the same verse can have different meanings, at different times. And, we just don't know the meaning right now because we haven't gotten there. And Ibn Abbas radiallahu anh, said that there's 4 types of verses in the Quran. There are verses that are understood by everyone without any effort, no matter who you are. So, for example, Allahu la ilaha illahu. Everyone understands that, right? You don't need a scholar to help you. Everyone understands that. Allah, there is no God other than Allah. It's very, very simple, very clear. On the other hand, there are verses that no one knows the meaning of them except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah preserved that knowledge for him. For example, Alif Lam Mim. What is the meaning of it? We can talk about that, we can talk about the opinions, we can talk about the interpretations. There's many dozens of opinions, but they're opinions. At the end of the day, the most correct opinion is that these are letters that no one knows the meaning of except Allah. Also, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَعِنْدَهُ مَفَاتِحُ الْغَيْبِ لَا يَعْلَمُهَا إِلَّا هُ. And he has the keys to the unknowns. The keys to the unknown, no one knows them except him. What are the keys to the unknown? The Prophet ﷺ told us what they are. They're mentioned in the last verse in Surah Luqman, which are that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he knows, he sends down the rain, and he knows what's in the wombs, and he knows what people are going to get in terms of sustenance, and he also knows where everyone is going to die, right? So we know what they are, but we don't know exactly how it works, right? Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows the unknown. And then there are, verses where if you know Arabic, you will understand the general meaning. You'll understand that. For example, Alif Lam Ra, wal Kitab al-Mubin. Wal Kitab al-Mubin. If you know Arabic, you know the general meaning of this verse. By the book, that is clear. By the clear book. And there are verses where you need scholars to help you interpret them. For example, the verses of talaq, the verses of divorcing women. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, for example, الطلاق مرتان فإمساك بمعروف أو تسريح بإحسان. So, if you read this verse, you can't really, as a layman, you can't get the interpretation, you can't get the rulings by yourself. You have to go back to the scholars, you have to read the hadith, and you have to, and then you will understand that this verse is ayatul khul. This is when the wife wants to leave the husband. But you can't get that as just a layman or someone who knows Arabic. So Quran is all of that. Quran is a message for everyone. Everyone can get something from it. The same verse can have different meanings, different aspects, depending on the time and place. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide us, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us better followers of His book and the guidance of His Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.